what brings you to SGPL Season 3?
Well, to be honest, to begin with, I saw mid-tier, and I love that type of draft. But I'm a doubles player, and I thought it was VGC because I'm so used to that. And when I came in and saw it was singles, uh, I I didn't know what to do honestly. But this would be my first singles draft, and mid-tier is an awesome how would I say it, format. So I was So I wanted to stay and try it out for the first time, see how it goes. Hopefully not get destroyed by everybody else in singles.
Wow, that's I would have never expected that it was kind of joining on a mistake, but I think it'll still be an interesting season just because I singles I honestly find easier to prepare for than trying doubles, but that's just my opinion because I feel like doubles players are on a completely different galaxy. So that being said, have you like been watching more singles games as a result of having to switch over for this new
Um,
format?
well, I haven't watched anything, but I have there's this guy in a different server. He said he will help me with the singles part because I really don't know anything. The only thing I know is Gen 3 OU because I love Gen 3. Even if it's singles, I love it so much. That's the only experience I have with singles. But for draft, I have zero singles experience or any modern day OU or UU, any of those tiers. So uh, I'm pretty much new to this. I'm hoping I can do decently well and not get completely destroyed. But yeah, that's it.
So that being said, since you're mostly like a doubles player, are you and you're in a division with like with mons that have a slightly different power range? Are there ones that you already plan to like look to draft, or are you keeping that game plan heavily on lock?
Um, well, with like I said, with the little experience that I have, there was about like two to three mons I'm looking to draft. Well, that's hoping if I can get them, because if I don't get any of them, I'm just gonna wing it. But that's just me. I even do that with the doubles draft. I just wing my draft. I don't prepare for anything or any of the sorts. But Empoleon is probably the number one I want to take because I that's actually my favorite Gen 4 mon. So if I can grab that, I'll be happy.
And Napoleon's definitely one of the cooler mons that I've never had any experience with doubles, but it's interesting because uh, I've seen like agility sets in the past for the Pataya Berry, but I think it's gotten a new moves right since it's been brought back into Paldea.
Oh yeah, and with it having competitive now, it's a whole lot better.
Uh, so Kevs, tell us about your team name. What's the inspiration behind it?
Oh, so all right, my team name is Supernova Jirachis. Uh, Jirachi is just one of my favorite mons of all time. Uh, it's my actually my second favorite mon. My first one is actually Salamence, but I just love Jirachi a lot too. And it's been to the point where I've had three to four Salamence logos, and this time I wanted to go with the Jirachi one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just behind the Supernova logo.
Oh, Jirachi is definitely a cool mon, especially with the ability to flinch mons to death. I've seen that in like, multiple formats. Um,
Oh yeah, that's horrible. That's not me. I like the Super Rashi set more, which is the Calm Mind set with three attacks. That's my favorite set.
yeah, definitely well rounded. Um, so then, as far as like competitive, have you did you start in singles Gen 3 and then moved on to doubles, or like what what was your
Um,
competitive experience like?
I started doubles competitive, well, competitive in general, back in 2016, back in the ORAS restricted metagame. Uh, and I've been playing ever since then. But when it comes to like draft, I'm pretty new. I think I'm like on my second year of draft. And then singles, I was watching this one YouTuber, I think is Jimothy Cool or something like that, and he does a lot of Gen 3 stuff. And Gen 3 is my favorite game or Gen. And about like last year, I started playing a lot of Gen 3 OU, and it just kind of stuck with me. So I Gen 3 OU is the only thing I do. I play random singles every now and then. I'm like 1500 on Showdown. I kind of know what I'm doing, but not necessarily when it comes to like the team building aspect. Uh, but yeah, that's my only experience when it comes to singles.
Okay. Well, I'm sure your experience will only get more interesting as time goes on, especially now that Gen 3 to a Gen 9 is a very huge jump with additions such as uh, Terra most notably, but also like Mega Mon, especially for during that. I mean, when you talked about like Oras, that was a big thing for like myself. Like Gen 6 was my favorite competitive era because of introducing those mons along with the Mega stones from the previously. Uh, but since we're talking about like competitive experience, like do you have any accomplishments you'd like to share with competitively from other leagues or yeah
Um,
tournaments?
like really good ones. I don't think I have really good ones. I think uh, my best one was back in the what was it, 2020 Players Cup 2. They would have, I think, the qualifiers where you would have a whole weekend to get like a high ranking to see if you qualify. On day two, I was at top 150.
Nice.
Yeah, and by the end of like the last day, I think like top 130, but I didn't know, I didn't check to see if I qualified or not because I got really busy the
Yeah.
following week and all that stuff. So I didn't check. I didn't see if I qualified or not. So I just kept on playing. And then lately, last year I went to NEIC. I started up 2-0, but then it went downhill and finally got knocked out at 3-3. So that's pretty much it.
Oh, that's still really cool that you went out to go to that's a regional, correct?
It was the international.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool too. It was actually my second experience because my first one was a regional down in Mexico City in the 2016 restricted format, I think it was, or 2015. I didn't know much about competitive back in that day, but I went to it because I thought it was cool. And yeah, it was cool. Really nice experience to have. I actually got to see a lot of my draft friends. We had a great time. We got to see some of the greats like Wolfie, Aaron Zhang,
Yeah.
all the cool guys. Really great time.
Oh, that's really cool. It's something I hope to go to at least once in my lifetime, but I feel like I want to do a little bit more doubles experience before I do there. But any other you have an interesting fun fact about yourself you'd like to share with the server before the season starts?
Let's see. Well, let's see. When it comes to draft, I don't prep at all, which is pretty much my main shtick when it comes to draft. I don't I don't plan anything. I don't plan my draft. I don't plan my weekly match. I just take them on side by side and start building. That's it. That's kind of like my gimmick, if you would say.
So you,
Because out of like 50 seasons of draft, I've never once prepped for any of my matches or prepped a draft plan. And I just think the side of like prepping like really hard to win all like every week all the matches takes the fun out of it.
uh-huh.
So I just kind of go with my gut instinct to see what I think would do well against my opponent and all that. And that's just me when it comes to building and all that stuff.
So just so I'm understanding this. So you have your A team A, right? And then you have your team B. You just look at it and just like, okay, this is what I need to do, and that's what I'll stick with, type deal.
Yeah, I go team A, team B. These six look good against. the whole composition of the team.
Mhm.
I'll just give this specific mon coverage for this in case I need it. And if I don't, that's fine, and then build on from there on down with every single mon.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good way I mean, not a bad way of working around it. Like without having to do calcs and things like that. What I'm really curious to see is because of the moves between singles and VGC slash doubles have a very difference as far as like usage. But I'm sure you'll be able to figure out from just like pure playing the games previously. So,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I like personally me, I like screens a lot when it comes to doubles,
mhm.
and I either do screens with hyper offense, which usually does extremely well because it just overpowers everything, and my mons don't die as easily.
Mhm.
Or like one of my favorite mons in draft is Umbreon. That thing just stalls out everything. So hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh, I use. It's rare that I use like a Stalmon, but Umbreon usually like the specific teams I like to make. It just fits so well in supporting the rest of my mons, and I think Umbreon is like the only stallish mon I would ever use in like when it comes to draft.
Umbreon's probably actually like my favorite evolution of the.
Evolution. Mine's Sylveon. I love Sylveon. I usually draft like out of 10 drafts, I draft Sylveon at least 7 to 8 times out of all those drafts.
Wow. Oh, it's yeah. Now, do you use shiny or do you use base?
Oh, when it comes to like, I play a lot of cart leagues,
Yeah.
so we gen our mons. I only use shinies if I caught the shinies in game, legitimately.
Uh-huh.
So when I gen, I already have that shiny, so I can make it shiny. I
I
don't
get
like
it.
I don't like I don't like the idea of just genning everything all shiny and all that stuff. I just gen what I have shiny already.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So I don't know how much you know about your opponents or anything like that. Is there anything that you would like to face in this format for
Oh
this
no,
division?
I pretty much don't know anybody in here. I know DJS from Silphco because he is I think he's the guy with the most championships over there, and I would play him every now and then in doubles formats. And yeah, I'm terrified of him. I've yet to beat him. I think I've only faced him twice, but yeah, I'm terrified of him. There's uh, Orn Latios. I know him from one of the leagues I'm a mod in. I'm also terrified of him because I always see him making playoffs all the time. So I don't want to face him at all if he's in that
Yeah.
division.
Yeah. Fair enough. So my last question is so why do you think you will win the championship this season?
Oh, I'm trying so hard not to laugh at that. Oh, no, I'm not gonna win it all. I know I'm not gonna win. I mean, my plan is to at least win 3 games out of all of the weeks I have. If actually managed to make it into playoffs, that would be much more than I already wanted. But I don't really see myself winning at all.
Yeah. You never know. You could just your power level could just surge after those 3 games and be in the play. You could be in the playoffs, and I'm really curious to see what it's gonna be like for your journey as a singles player, especially in draft league, which is very different from regular draft. But anyways, thank you for your time, Kevs.
No, thank you for having me.
Look at me. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How's everything been with you?
Good. Just enjoying the holidays. Back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I just got back in today. It was pretty uneventful, honestly. Most people still don't seem to be back into the group.
Yes.
So, dude, so tell us, I guess first question, man, so people get to know you. First off, how did you find the SGBL server and what brought you here?
I know Hunky Donkey from a couple other servers that I participate. Well, I participated in the one Gen 3 league that he's in, and then I kind of met that group through that, and I found them through Reddit, a Reddit post.
Nice. I think, and I've been excited to have you here. And so, what are you excited? You decided to join the mid-tier division, which has no Terra, mostly lower-ish tier mons. So, what made you interested in that format?
It's something different for me. I'm used to just the standard gen-based gen-based formats.
Mhm.
And trying to mix it up. I'm currently participating in a Little Cup League, which has actually been one of the more fun events I've participated in recently as far as Draft League.
Mhm.
So I figured mid-tier league, no Terra, no Z move. There's some megas, but the ones that don't ever get to see the light of day. But well, I'm pretty interested in that. I like new formats, I like innovations. So I'm gonna roll with it and have some fun.
Yeah, what little cup mons have been thriving for you?
Huh. If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, but I got well, this one's not surprising, but I got a Houndour 5-0 first week
Mhm.
because I took over the team. I usually join when I'm in these servers. I usually act as a like a backup person.
Mhm.
Um, just because I've won leagues many times before, and I prefer the coaching side
Mhm.
more so. But yeah, I got Houndour and right now Flittle are my two crazy mons. I can send you a replay if you want to show the guys. I got a cool, nice little replay of a Flittle sweep. Literally tossed it out, speed boost, calm mind. They panic switch and didn't roar me out, and I'll snowball from there.
Jeez, Flittle just killing things like a small throw would in the higher tiers. Um, so now, since you're in mids here, what mons are you like? What mons have caught your eye that you have been interested in testing out in this type of format, where maybe that you are interested in? It could just be any mon, or it could maybe there's a mon that you're interested in looking at because it doesn't get to thrive as much in traditional Nat decks.
It's not one. There's a couple mons that I've been looking at that have piqued my interest, and it's not that they don't get used; it's just that they don't get used right.
Mhm.
The type of player I am is more of a balanced player, but the one thing I can warn people against is don't bring stall against me. You'll regret it. I used to be a stall player, um, and the one mon that I always look at is one of my. It's a Ultra Beast, and it brings back so many memories because like I said, I've won 2 leagues with this mon on at Stack Attacka.
Mhm.
Just didn't get doesn't get used a lot. I'm surprised to see it in mid tier.
Mhm.
But when you look at the move pool and what it's week 2 currently with all the new mons, it makes
Mhm.
sense. But Stack Attack of other ones, and then the one other one, I have to look at my draft board I've made up already. But Superior is another one I'm a little surprised to see in mid tier. Again, no Terra. It still has a good gimmick of leech seed sub and whatnot, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Contrary is going to be banned on Superior, so
Oh,
obviously,
even with the contrary ban, still sub glare having a glare mon like that. I mean, like I said before, contrary came out, Fat Superior was one of the mons people hated. So, other than that, another mon that I have yet to try out in any format, because I typically only do draft league now, is Pheasantipity. So, don't be surprised if I hot pick Pheasantipity round 1. So.
I think I think Pheasantipity has become a mon that I've enjoyed using quite a bit, and I think it's a mon that has pretty good potential. Honestly, pretty funny guy, and I'm definitely excited to see. I'm definitely excited to see it in this format. Um, I think it's pretty good normally, but here's a format where maybe it could even put in quite a bit more work than it normally can. Has some good setup moves. Has really nice with that bulk. Stupid ability. Really good to both abilities. So I definitely
Yeah, that's
feel
like well, I've had some experience with some close league buddies on Amon that I'm kind of shocked to see in mid tier. Obviously, it's new, but Pitran Once people experience that mon, I have a feeling that it will be a tier 15 and above in most leagues, just because we've been messing around with it and it's pretty wild, mainly on the stall teams because of what it does.
Yeah,
100% poison is crazy.
I used it in the speed tour, and it was definitely one of those. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I think in a full draft it may have some issues since it has very clear like walls to it. But again, even like steel types should theoretically just hard wall them on, especially with no Terra. The fact they get Shadow Ball and Nasty Plot should be able to hit a lot of those mons pretty hard.
Yeah,
So
the one thing that we were messing with it. Yeah, you're right. Steel types kind of shut it down, but when you bait the steel type in, with it's got parting shots. So that's the one thing I was kind of bummed to see it had.
yeah, it's definitely a better mon than people realize right now. Again, it's one of those. It's a new mon. It's almost like on the borderline of being allowed versus not being allowed. And for its first season, it was almost like worth. Let's add it and let's regret it later if it puts in so much work, and we'll figure it out as we go. But it definitely fills a nice role as a ghost type. And in this meta, one thing we noticed were fighting types are very, very good. Fighting types
Yeah,
are much better here than they are in regular Nat decks. So I'm excited to see a pure ghost, a ghost poison mon, be able to help check those, fighting types. Um, I'm excited. I want to see how it does. I hope it puts in a lot of work. I prefer mons. I prefer mons doing well that are new. And this gen, they've given us a lot of that.
yeah. No, I'm there's some of the mods I'm curious to see what the rest of the move, like you said, Contra are getting banned. I'm curious to see all the rest of them, all the other abilities that take a ban.
Mhm.
Which, like I said, you just kind of adapt to it. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing something a little different than what I normally do. So I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. I do have my draft board already set. I don't want to expose too many of my picks because then it kind of
Yeah,
gets rid of
100%.
the gimmick of what I'm trying to plan out here. But I do already have. Once I got announced, I kind of started to. I actually built the draft. I have a draft deck I usually focus on. I have one that's standard for all my leagues,
Mhm.
and I do. My first round. I usually do up to the 7th round, just because it's too hard to anticipate, and oftentimes I find out I'm getting surprised
Yeah.
about what's available.
Yeah, I think for myself, I don't even bother prepping drafts at this point. I usually I don't start prepping for the draft until I get a couple picks in, and then I'm like, all right, now let's figure out a little bit of a plan because it's always what mon do I want to use that I haven't used or haven't used much of, and try to get those first, and then from there try to build a team around it. That's kind of my mindset nowadays since I've done so many of these, and I feel like I used to prep drafts so much, and it never really worked out for me. So
Yeah.
one thing, I guess another question, what got you into competitive mons or draft, or more so, I guess, draft in general?
I just like I will because I used to play on Showdown back in Gen 4 maybe. I've been playing Pokemon for a long time. I used to do uh, World Circuit back when the link cable was a thing. Obviously that's showing my age a little bit, but um,
I'm right there
I've
with
been I've been doing it a long time. I got into draft back when it was a sensitive pick kind of thing. Before they did Snake, we actually did round robin a couple times. But I took a break. But what I like about draft is it's a little different than just playing the standard things that normal people play nowadays. The standard OU tiers. I mean, the OU is fun, but I like the draft form and what you kind of how creative you can get with it. There's only one mon per team and only one mon per, one mon for all the teams. So you kind of have to the prepping and the planning is a lot different and more, in my opinion, more wholesome, right? So, um, and what I like about it is, especially if you can get your favorite. A lot of people like doing that, drafting their favorites, and it puts spotlights to how people use certain Pokemon that you normally wouldn't think of, like for example, in my other league with Sneasler. I know it's not. I know it's more popular now, but around the time when it first came out, I was in a Gen 9 league. When they had just released it at the DLC, when Caesar came back from Legends Arceus, one of the sets that people saw me running that wasn't really one that people were seeing was the Endure Lychee Berry. And in draft, it's kind of you would just think to do a weakness policy or something like that, but Lychee Berry last minute takes a hit, and then you would then bait the Endure with bulk up, and then all of a sudden you get a Lychee Berry and you're at a +2 with one defense boost and kind of reverse sweep. And that's another mon. Nowadays, I think that mon's a little overbearing and overpowered than what it was, but that's another mon that I have found a lot of interest in. So, but
No, yeah, and I think
not anymore.
What was that?
I said not anymore. I just got to take a break now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So so you kind of talked about your draft style a little bit, and mons that you wanted to play with and everything. And you did talk about some of your accomplishments. You won a few titles. And how many draft leagues have you won?
I have. Geez, I go back and look because I keep all my draft prep docs that I have. I've won, like I mentioned to somebody else, a buddy of mine, King, who's wearing a draft league right now together. And like I said, he asked me, I've been asked a couple times why I do draft all the time and why I'm so interested in helping people prep for other people. I usually find a prep partner pretty early on. And I try to help them out as best as possible because I find with draft to avoid people quitting. If you can offer, different ways to use their teams, it's best to follow that. But so far I've won Gen 1 league, Gen 2 league. I have not won a Gen 3 league. I was participating in one that did not complete just recently. I was doing pretty well. I was hopeful. Again, I'll find another one and I'll participate in one, but I've done Gen 3. Didn't finish it, but I was doing well. I've participated in 3 Gen 4s. Didn't win. I got second place, so I'm considering it good enough. I've done a Gen 5. I've done quite a few Gen 5s. I have 2 titles in Gen 5, no titles for Gen 6. I have a title win Gen 7. That is a title win that I think I submitted. Was it a Buzzwole sweep? Because that's what at the end of that's one of my Buzzwole is one of my favorite Pokemon in the game.
Same here. Freaking goat.
Yeah, Buzzwole is not a mon people. Not a lot of people are expecting to do certain things, and I ran weakness policy bulk up, and I was not expecting it to go like it did, and it just ended up being that way, and got the win. Too much bulk because I did a panic bulk up, misclick bulk up, and he tried setting up on me, and one thing led to another.
So it's definitely still going more. It could be really difficult to deal with. All right, I guess to close things out, I would like to ask. This is what I've been asking everyone. You're in the mid-tier division. Why are you going to win the championship this season?
I am. Yeah, well, I could say why I'm going to win is because I'm not gonna go out of my way to try to win. I'm gonna play the draft league as I do every time. And if someone wants to prep, someone's going to prep, and you can learn how people think and adapt to that. And but I guess if I had to say why I think I'm going to win, it's just the length of knowledge. I'm not gonna be surprised if I get 6-0 by a certain mon. I'm no surprises here, but I think I'm gonna win because I try to keep 5 steps ahead. Oftentimes, when you say 5 steps ahead, that means you're gonna misclick, and I do that a lot. So
I've been there before way too many times.
yes.
Yeah, no, I think this is great. I'm excited to see how you perform this season. I I'm definitely interested to see how things go, and I think it's a good division, and I hope you perform well, and I hope you draft a fun team this season. That's the goal, and everything should be good. Any closing remarks?
No, I have none. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to participating in a fun new league. And like I said, looking forward to it. And keep me in mind if you if any of the other players need a prep partner. Reach out. I'm all more than willing.
Yeah,
Um,
we definitely have the channels for that, and we'll definitely look forward to that. All right, this is the interview. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a good one, everyone.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another round of our interviews with various people in different divisions for the upcoming SGBL Season 3. I am joined here today with Goomy.
Hello.
Goomy here is a good friend of SGBL. They're a partner with our server, and they're someone I know very well. And let's get into it. So, how you doing today, Goomy?
My day was fine, until I played Mons and then my day got worse, but that's how it happens.
Yeah, I feel it. Sometimes you play Mons, the day gets better, the day gets worse. You never know.
Oh no, it usually gets worse. Well, depends. It depends.
Yeah, of course. It depends who you're playing and everything too, because it's like if it's someone you know and it can be fun, it can bring some joy to your day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
No, understandable. So, what brings you to SGBL for this upcoming season?
I have a really bad habit of seeing leagues send out applications and just impulse applying, so I did that, and then I saw mid tier and I saw no terror. I was like, okay, I'm actually down for this.
Nice, nice. You saw a meta finally without Terra because your league's going to be running a season without Terra, and you just want to enjoy not dealing with those mind games of terroring, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, nice, nice. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, I'm also glad you signed up. Unfortunately, I'm not playing that division, so you don't get a free win in one of the weeks. But you know what? Hey, we just got to accept that and continue moving forward.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't plan on having a winning record.
I mean, hey, you never know. You're a good battler, and I have faith in you.
Depends on the day, but thank you.
Mhm. Anyways, though, so you mentioned you are doing the mid-tier division. What are some mons that you are looking forward to draft in the mid-tier division?
I think I'm trying to remember. Oh, Zarude, is far and away a lot better than the other 20 pointers in that tier, and I feel like it's very versatile. It has a great typing,
Mhm.
um, and then I don't actually like contrary to I guess popular belief. I don't actually like using Gudra that much. It doesn't feel really good. Like it's fat, but it doesn't do a lot of damage.
Mhm.
I'm also not a huge fan of Draco Meteor on Mons. Like if it's on a Latios and it does like insane and it can just nuke stuff, then that's cool. But Gudra, I don't know, it doesn't feel good to only do like 70 and then have to switch out.
Yeah, I got you. You don't want to be using Draco Meteor on your defensive mon where you're forcing it to switch out and losing momentum, right?
Yeah, and it also doesn't. I feel like doesn't have as much versatility as Zarude because Gudra has no setup. It's basically either going to be AV or like it's basically going to be AV four attacks pretty much every week. I feel like.
Interesting. I mean, hey, it's funny. It was actually a debate before mid-tier started if we were going to allow Gudra or not, just because of its bulk.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be hard to break, but I don't think it's a super threatening top tier.
I got you. Well, so we're talking about Zaruj and everything. How it's very versatile. What makes you unique, or what about your battle and your building style should people be excited for when they watch you battle in this season?
Oh God, excited. Okay, so um the way I've been doing it more recently is I stick the 6 or 7 mons I want to bring and then get a basic idea of their sets and then put it off and procrastinate until later, until usually 30 minutes before the game. Um
Mhm,
Most of the time I feel like my prep is either average to bad. So a lot of the times when I win a game, I either get lucky, which happens quite often, or I just play out of my mind, which is
mhm,
also not happen very often. But I think unique is that I don't I don't know I don't know if this counts, but I don't really put very much thought into prep. which leads to either really hold on. I'm trying to think about this. When I don't think, I play better, I think
Mhm.
is what happens a lot of the time. Which is really not a good thing, but it happens sometimes. So sometimes I'll just pop off one week and then the next week I'll get 6-0'd by like a Bramblegast.
Oh, listen, I completely get that feeling of sometimes when you're thinking in a game and everything, you'll just make every read incorrect and you get 6-0
Yeah,
swept.
absolutely. That's the worst feeling in the world when you like think you have a crazy play and then you just lose like your like one of your most important mons.
Mhm. No, of course, yeah,
I,
listen,
I I used to overpredict a ton, but I've come around to yeah, not thinking less basically.
yeah, of course. It's one of those just, yeah, this happened. I just gotta accept it now.
Yeah, fuck it, we ball basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we do it. So, Goomy, I know you pretty well, right? Because we've been in the community together. We've had great battles against each other. I definitely don't have a losing record in that decks against you or anything. But what are some interesting things you want to say about yourself?
Um, well, if you haven't joined already, discord.gg/Kingdom of Gumidra. That's GOOMIDRA. But besides that, I don't know. I feel like recently, not recently per se, but in the last couple months, I've haven't, like I said, been taking Mons very seriously, and the
Mhm,
draft leagues are kind of just a place for me to more so um, just hang out and spend time and talk to people and maybe do some mods sprinkled here and there. Um, yeah, I think I don't know. I just like to have a chill time regardless of what game is being played because usually I don't have as much fun playing Mons um than I do playing other things.
mhm. I got you. You've been kind of recently, something interesting is how you've enjoyed things in the servers, like your server and my server, just the things outside of Mons, really, like the other stuff in the servers, right?
Yeah.
That was good. Honestly, it's something I've enjoyed a lot too. Like I'm in your server quite often, talking to people, hanging out. Which don't
Hmm.
worry, there will be a plug for it.
Oh, let's go.
But I know you're saying you're not as interested in Mons recently, right? But what are some accomplishments you do have?
My accomplishments is that I just lost my DWC game 5-0 because I didn't have a Bramble gas switch in. I wasn't kidding about the Bramble earlier.
I know. I actually watched the game too, and kind of
It
funny.
was
I
really
will come
bad.
full circle.
Shout out to Clash of Max. If well, I don't know if they
Hopefully
probably
watches.
won't be listening, but regardless, yeah, I don't want to ever fight this thing ever again. It's gonna be on the list next, right there next to Gloom of grass types that I've gotten cooked by that I don't want to talk about.
We're just gonna slowly add things to that list of grass
It-
types.
yeah, it's gonna get exponentially bigger over time.
Mhm,
Next week, I'm gonna see like a Diplin and not prep for it, and then get walled by it somehow.
mhm. Hey, you never know. Honestly, Diplin could just come with new insane type that just freezes your entire team. You never know.
Yeah, Diplin Mega Diplin Gmax Diplin.
No, no one's ready for the Gmax Diplin.
It's so over.
Oh man. So now that I mentioned this before, how you are in mid-tier division, you're in the Magmortar division. Is there who are you looking forward to face in this upcoming season? If you've seen it yet, like who you could possibly play.
Let me pull up the div video real quick. Um, who am I looking forward to playing? I don't know a ton of these people in this div. I know Heatseeker. He's been around KOG a lot. I've seen Canuck Chum around, and I've also seen SF Paul around. They
Mhm,
all seem like good players. I don't know. It's not one of those where I'm looking forward to which of my friends I'm gonna fight in the next week. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like um yeah, just looking forward. I'm more so looking forward to playing with the Mons and uh but yeah, it will be fun to play some of the people that I know well, and I know that are good players.
mhm. I got you. Yeah, you're more so looking forward to playing in this division itself, more so
Yeah.
than the people in it, right?
Hmm.
Nice, nice. No, hey, good to hear. I mean, Yeah, hopefully it'll
Which
be
is
a
no
fun.
offense to the other coaches. Like I said,
No,
I'm excited. I'm excited. I probably will watch some of the. Normally, I don't watch the other replays as much, but I do kind of want to see. This format is pretty interesting.
mhm. For sure. I mean, this format came about out of nowhere by one of my mods per turbo, and we've just been keeping it going because it's just had a lot of hype behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Goomy. Not to take up too much of your time, I just got one final thing I'd like to ask you to close this out. So, this is the most important question I'm going to ask you. So,
Okay.
why will you win the championship this season? Let's hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna win. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. So I'm gonna draft some. I'm gonna draft Zarude round one. If I get sniped, I'm gonna draft some shitter round one.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna build my whole team around this 3-point shitter. It's gonna
Yep.
come to every week.
Yep.
It's gonna go 12 and 3. And then I'm going to be third seed, and I'm gonna sweep playoffs.
Nice, nice, nice. I'm glad to
I'm
hear
gonna
it.
let me pick them on right now. Let me pick the 3-pointer right now. Actually, let me see who has the most potential here.
3 point like Stantler.
Porygon. I'm drafting Porygon. If I don't get Zarude round one, I'm getting Porygon, and it's coming to every game.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here now. Goomy, if
Watch out.
Goomy gets sniped of Zarude, she's
Don't ignore it on prep.
don't ignore it. Yep, the round one Porygon. That's gonna sweep everyone's teams.
Porygon for 3 is actually pretty shiced. I might have to
Yeah,
actually pick that.
it actually is. Well, too late. Can't change those tiers now.
Yep.
All right. Well, Goomy, thank you so much for coming on here and doing this interview with me.
Yep.
I'm very excited to see what you do this season. I've seen you battle, and I know you're gonna enjoy this format a lot. There's gonna be a lot of good games here, a lot of good people in this division. You have any closing words you'd like to say?
Yeah, good luck to all the coaches. Hope you don't get hacked too bad. Yeah, and have fun. Good luck.
Yep. All right. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.
Discord.gg/kingdom of Gloomadra. Bye. Thank you to Theo for hosting this.
Hello, everyone, and now I welcome my guest here, Z. Z, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not the best, but I'm doing great
I
because I
understand.
just lost a match.
That's unfortunate, dude. We all lose matches though. Especially when you start playing draft league enough, you realize losses they come way more than you would like them to.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, for me specifically,
Mhm.
I have a history of a lot of losses in a row.
Yeah, but I think we could definitely talk it out and see how we could improve for your future matches. So,
Yeah.
Z, why don't you tell everyone what brought you into the SGBL in the first place?
So basically, I wanted to do more drafts, so I went around trying to find draft leagues
Mhm.
somewhere, and I ended up finding the DCDL, and then from there I found the SGPL.
Nice. So, what got you interested in playing this season?
I just wanted to play. I wanted to play more drafts.
Nice. So,
I've
why
not
did
I've
you?
not
Yeah,
played that many drafts. I just wanted to get into playing more draft league matches.
nice. So, I was gonna say, why did you prefer to do mid tier over traditional nat decks this season?
I mean, like most people from mid here will probably say it's the power creep. There
Mhm.
are too many strong mons that are just way too strong.
Mhm.
Like if you don't have one of the good mons, you can't win. But in usually mid tier, even the lower parts of the mid tier can actually do something in the
Yeah,
battle.
100%.
And I discovered this very recently because I only used to play OU and such, but it was
Mhm.
very boring for me. Then one day I decided let's try NU in Pokemon Showdown, and it was a lot more fun for me because
Yeah,
I could use ZU Mons in NU and it would still make sense.
yeah. I think a lot of people prefer that like lower level of power, and there's something fun to play a format that, especially for us, it's no Terra, but it's not deck still,
Hmm.
and you know you cut off the
Yeah.
decks quite a bit. So, in
Yeah.
doing the mid-tier draft, what mons are you? Is there, without maybe giving up too much of your strategy or anything, is there any mons that you are interested in trying out in this format?
I mean, in normal NU, I haven't tried the Terrakion NU yet. And recently, the
Oh,
the recent thing that happened to NU, I have not tried Terrakion NU. I don't know what's happening there. But before Terrakion joined NU, I do like Cramorant. It's not the best mod, but it's definitely fun to use.
You're the second person who's talked about wanting to use Cramorant, actually. Oh, I was speaking more so in like draft league itself, like our mid-tier draft, because Terrakion
Yeah,
obviously is banned. Um, what
obviously,
mon,
yes.
what mon in draft were you interested to use? You mentioned Cramorant a little bit. Uh,
Cramorant, yeah.
okay. Anything else that
Other
they?
mons, other mons like Sandy Shocks. I've seen Sandy Shocks being used against me and absolutely destroying me. So I want to use Sandy Shocks finally, because in
Yeah,
other drafts, Sandy Shocks has been very annoying to me.
I hear you on that. It's a super
Yeah,
strong. It's a super strong mon. It's a good mon even in regular nat decks. Um, I
yeah.
got. I completely get it. Good speed, good
Mhm.
special attack, really solid mon.
Yeah.
So Z,
And
mhm.
no, no, it's fine.
No, you can go. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine. I was just saying that I don't know. I've not played many draft leagues with megas. I've only
Mhm.
played one, so I don't know much about the low tier megas. So I don't know what mega I'll be picking or have any idea about megas.
Yeah, I think Mega Banet's something that's very interesting now because in nat decks it gets Poltergeist,
Hmm.
so it becomes super strong, and it
Uh-huh.
has like Swords Dance and Trailblaze, and obviously Prankster
Yeah,
Destiny Block is really cool.
obvious. Yeah.
Amrupt is one of the best known low tier megas. Mega Ampharos
Uh-huh.
is my favorite personally. Um, yeah, I think there's a bunch of
Yeah.
megas, like, especially if we haven't played with them before, that could be really fun to use.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, you are relatively new in the draft community. Um, what
Yes.
would you say is your preferred like battle and build style?
I have not been to many draft leagues, but the most successful teams I've made were rain teams. But obviously, that's not allowed in the mid tiers
Yeah,
in this mid tier draft. But yeah, rain teams mostly just set up and then try to sweep is
yep,
my is usually my go-to. But I'm trying to make more variety of my team strategies to have some more fun. Try to figure out, is there a better strategy out there and
yeah,
such.
100%. I think that's the fun of the beauty of draft, where you kind of figure out your style and figure out what would be the most successful. Um, and you'll definitely aim to do that. Um, So I would say you are relatively new. Why don't you tell everyone, what is something interesting about yourself that you would like for people to know?
I know a lot of useless information about a lot of things, and that can sometimes hinder my draft league abilities because I'm like, I think of a very obscure strategy, but then I realize that it's so obscure, it's actually not going to help at all because it only works if the opponent does one specific thing, which they might do, but there are also 99 other things they will do. So it doesn't really help. Like for this recent battle just now, I was thinking about Worry Seed Rillaboom, which
Yeah.
Worry Seed is not a move you usually use.
Hmm.
But I was thinking it could be funny to use against Glisk or Poison Heal. But it also wouldn't have been a good strat because that would rely on Carlbot and my opponent not having a lot of switch-in options to Rillaboom. And also Rillaboom would hammer and it would just be a much better option to just do that instead of wasting a move slot on Worry Seed.
I mean, I will say this. One thing where Worry Seed would have been actually kind of cool is you would have done a couple things. If they switched in Diplin on you, you would have got rid of Sticky Hold,
Yeah,
which would have let you knock off its
yeah,
item. Uh,
items. Yeah,
you could have, yeah, the
I
light score if you did catch it with Worry Seed, especially a few turns in.
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's taken
Okay.
really big trip. I think it was a legitimate
Yeah.
strategy. I think
Mm.
you know, there's a process when you get experience. You understand the
Obviously, yeah.
you understand the sequencing of plays. Sir Kill and myself, we constantly talk about having good sequences in our games. You know, I want to get from
Yeah.
this to this to this, so I could get to this in the end game, essentially. And how do I
Yeah.
execute that properly? And that's
Yeah.
something you
I
learn.
you Yeah. No, I have those sorts of processes as well. It just I'm not as good at predicting. So
Mhm.
the processes that I think of don't usually happen.
Yeah, I
Also,
tell. Mhm.
yeah. Also, I'm wondering, does Worry Seed even work on a grass type?
I'm gonna be honest. I assume
I don't
so.
know. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty sure it does. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I just it doesn't work on Pokemon with Truants or multi type. So that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. You were
Maybe
saying
maybe in the future you're surprised if you rematch
we can
Croc.
try it. Yeah.
That's your way
My
of.
go-to strat. Yeah.
No, I think it was I think it was you mentioned it in the chat afterwards, and I thought it was a legitimate strat just looking at his team, especially because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of his mons are unaware and you know
Yeah.
very very bulky and have very bulky style abilities. I
Yeah.
think you would have definitely caught him by surprise there, but
Yeah. But I played it safe rather than trying to do something crazy.
yeah, I think there's always things you can do to play better and build better. And it's not always just about, playing better. It's about or even building right. It's about executing it once the, game is on. I think that's
Yeah.
always there's levels to where you get from, let's say a 1 out of 5 player to a 2 out of 5 to a 3 out of 5 to a 4 out of 5 and so on, until you
Yeah.
become, like a perfect player, which almost nobody is.
Yeah. Obviously.
So to kind of close this out then, I've been asking everyone this. What what will be the reason or why will you win the championship this season?
I don't know. If everyone disconnects on all their matches, like if they have some, I don't know, they're like, I don't want to play the league anymore, and they just leave the league. Half of the players should do that. The other half should just somehow lose to me.
Mhm,
I don't know. They bring the wrong team, then
mhm.
I might win.
I think you'll get better, especially with your draft experience now starting to grow, doing a couple leagues. Uh,
Yeah.
but that's the funniest. That's one of the funniest answers so far. Uh,
Yes.
that's great. Hey, is there anything else you want to close everyone else out with? Any other last messages or whatever?
Uh, don't do not bring stall against me. I will cry against you. I will cry.
sounds
That
sounds good.
that is a threat.
Do not bring stall, boys and girls. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening and have a good day. Bye.